You can't get this ripped as a vegan bodybuilder, and you can't get this bulked up and thick with a double C as a bodybuilder who's vegan, right? Well, I mean, that's what I see every single day in the comment section. That's probably why you're here in this video right now. But let me tell you, both of those shots you just saw are me as a vegan bodybuilder. So what's the secret? Well, I'm gonna tell you what the secret is in this video. Is it all the amazing vegan junk food in San Diego? I wish that was the secret to gains, because I'd be gaining every day. But no, it's not. What is that truth? What is that secret? That is the thing I think most people are forgetting when it comes to gaining that muscle. And in my opinion, that thing that is not emphasized enough, because you hear it so much, that 90% of muscles and abs are made in the kitchen and only 10% is from workouts. I think that is an incorrect ratio, and I think your workout plan itself is so important. And wait, before you get into the comment section and say there are so many other factors you need to worry about as well, you are right. There is a video I made recently with John Venus and Nimai Delgado where we talk about all the other things, all the other factors you need to get in line. But today what I want to harp on is getting that proper workout plan. And today what I'm going to be sharing in this video is my exact workout plan at the moment, right now, while I am bulking to gain muscle. The first workout I do each week is a back, bicep, and rear deltoid day, and the exercise that I do is a seated cable row, and I'll change the grips up right now. I'm doing kind of a mid grip instead of a super narrow grip, instead of a super wide grip, really trying to do something that I can use a lot of weight, crank that weight down with. And then I move on from here to a single arm dumbbell row, just to give it a little bit of a difference. Instead of doing all two-handed exercises, I like to do some one-handed exercises. And then sometimes I'll be able to do an overhead exercise. Today there was way too many people in the gym, so I ended up having to do T-Rex rows, which are pretty much my favorite exercise for back, but I would have also probably done some pull-ups if the pull-up bar would have been available. Then I'll move on from there into rear deltoids, because they are synergistic muscles. They are activated at the same time when you're doing rowing exercises, so I will move on to the rear delts now that they've been a little bit touched, a little bit pumped. I absolutely love doing my rear delts on the rear delt fly machine. I can really stack weight on there, but sometimes I'll do it with dumbbells, sometimes I'll do it with TRX ropes. But right now, again, I'm doing this for the next about 6 weeks until this phase is over, and then I'll move from there. After I've done about 4 or 5 sets of that, I'll move on to biceps, and biceps always kind of changes a little bit. It's pretty dynamic, but right now I'm doing something where I basically am doing supinated curls, where I'm twisting them at the top, and then I'll switch into hammer curls. Sometimes I'll mix the two of them, and I'll do this really cool set, which is basically you're gonna do 4 or 5 sets, and you're gonna get to 10 reps. But what you're gonna do is use a really heavy weight and do it supinated. You should be able to maybe get to 10 or so-ish on the first set, but then it's gonna get way harder. And so then on the second set, maybe you can only do 7 where you curl it and you supinate and you actually get your hand twisted. And so for the rest of those 3 reps, till you get to 10 reps, I'll do hammer curls. Then the next set, you can only do 5 supinated. Then you have to do the last 5 hammer curls. See what I'm saying? You start to move the ratio over into hammer curls more as you go, because it gets much harder and you can do hammer curls more than you can do supinated curls. So it kind of adds like a little dynamic there. You also get a big forearm pump, and then I'll finish with some reverse barbell curls. And again, like the sets are always kind of changing, so I'll generally do a lot more sets on my curl stuff, and I'll do kind of the same exercises. So I'll end up doing probably about 4 sets of reverse curls, and like I said, 4 or 5 sets of something that directly hits my biceps. With all the back stuff that I was talking about, I'm usually doing about 2 to 4 sets of each back exercise, somewhere around 8 to 12 reps. And then we're gonna move on to our chest day. So with our chest day, we are going to start with, usually right now I'm doing dumbbell floor press, just because it's something that is keeping my shoulders in line. If you know me, I have had some issues with my shoulders, so I want to make sure that they are, being pulled tucked tight, and when I have my back against the floor, I can really make sure that I'm pulling my shoulder blades back tight as I'm doing the press. Then I'll move on to some sort of an incline press. So right now I'm doing the incline machine press, and then I will move on to some sort of a fly movement. So sometimes fly cables, but right now I'm doing the butterfly or the Pec Deck, which is really awesome. The only difference is I don't do a 90-degree arm hold. I actually will have my arms out so that the pads are against my elbows, and I'll kind of do like kind of a hugging motion. Again, all of those are somewhere around 3 to 4 sets of about 10 reps each. and then I will move on to shoulders, and I will do usually my my presses first because I'm already, you know, kind of stimulating my front deltoids when I'm doing all those pushes, all those pressing movements. And so I will do an overhead, which is really awesome. This is a new exercise I've been able to put into my routine, an overhead dumbbell press where I really get my elbows narrow. I pull my elbows back by pulling my shoulders back, which really sets my shoulder blades into position, and then I'm pressing overhead. The only difference than a normal dumbbell shoulder press is that I have to be very careful to create as much space in my shoulders as possible so I don't impinge them. So what I'm doing is I'm leaning just slightly back, really using my abs and tucking my ribs down by activating my core, and I'm pressing up in a way that the dumbbells don't end directly above my shoulders, but actually slightly in front. This kind of ensures that I won't impinge myself, which is really important for me again. From there, I will then go to my middle deltoids and I will do lateral raises. So I'm going anywhere from 25 pounds up to 35 pounds, depending on how many reps I'm trying to do or how slow I'm trying to do the exercise. So right now with 35 pounds, I'm getting somewhere around 10 reps. And what you're noticing probably is that I am doing these single armed instead of doing them both at the same time. And the reason why is because my left and my right shoulders kind of operate slightly differently. So doing them both at the same time is not gonna do justice. One of them is gonna get a slightly different workout than the other one. So when I do it one armed, I can use my good arm first, which is my right arm, and I can really feel how my body is operating. Then I can try to remember, how did I do that? Where was my elbow position? What was I doing? And then I can try to replicate that into my left side, which is the side that I have a little bit of trouble with. From there, I will move on to triceps. Right now I'm using these really cool handles instead of using like a cable grip or using like the hard bar. I'm actually using this thing that straps around the bottom of my wrist here, which just gives me kind of a different contraction. And I will generally do standing, where I try to pull these ropes to the sides of me. And one of the favorite things that I have to do is I will do a standing set until I fail. And then what I'll do is I'll drop to my knees, and dropping to my knees gives me more leverage, which lets me do more reps. So after I've burnt out standing up, I go down to my knees, I do as many as I can outside of my knees. Then as soon as I fail with that, you can do so many more reps if you have it really narrow in between your knees. So then I will move to that. So basically it's a 3 different exercise burnout. Try it. It gives you such a fatty frickin' pump. Try to keep your core activated the whole time you're doing it. Seriously, you're gonna love that exercise. It's absolutely awesome. From there, actually, I'll usually do a trap shrug, which today there was somebody on it and I was in a hurry, so I wasn't able to film that. But that is what I would end with, is about 3 to 4 sets of traps. Okay, we're almost there. I'm running out of sunlight, but the last day that we do is a leg day. Right now I'm working on deadlifts, but usually I'll switch between deadlifts, lunges, leg press, or squats. Currently, I've been on a deadlift phase. I probably got about another 4 weeks or so. So what I'm doing is 5 sets of 5 reps. I'll work my way up. Currently, I'm getting somewhere just around 300 pounds. I'm trying to work my way up to 315, but I'm trying to be very careful. Don't force yourself, don't force your ego. Make sure that you're doing it safely. If you feel any sort of pains or anything like that, don't force it. Drop the weight down, find that form that does work, and worry about getting more weight on next week, especially with things that involve your back. So I'll do that 5 sets of 5. Then I'll move on and I'll usually do like a one-legged leg press or like an assisted rack lunge, something that's accessory, or like a dumbbell sumo squat, something like that where I can get a little extra work in, but I'm not doing like a super heavy exercise, but it is still a compound exercise that works multiple muscles. Today, it was completely packed, and I, again, was in a hurry because we were shooting this thing with Sammy up in downtown, so I wasn't able to do that. But then once I do those 2 compound exercises, then I'll move on to the general extensions, curls. So I'll do leg extensions for about 4 to 5 sets, I'll do leg curls for about 4 to 5 sets, and then I'll finally finish with calf extensions, or calf raises rather, for about 5 sets on that. And that is currently what my workout routine is. Those first 3 days I'll do in the higher rep range. So like you heard, I'll be doing about 2, 3, maybe 4 sets per exercise, and I'll usually be doing them around 8 at the lowest, up to 12 reps, sometimes more than that. But then when I get into the later part of the week, the last 3 days, I work out 6 days a week. Those last 3 days I'm doing with more weight and less reps. So I'm working more on my strength, but I'm generally doing the exact same exercises. And I'll do this again for about 8 weeks to 12 weeks. Then I'll switch everything up, change the exercises that I am doing. And that's pretty much my plan for workouts. You gotta have a plan. So as I'm going forward and as I'm putting on weight, these dogs are running around me, and I'm eating more calories, I am making sure that those weights that I'm using each week are going up. and I'm a big fan of intensity, man. If you're in the gym and you don't feel that intensity, you need to drink more water. You need to listen to more music that gets you, into it. You need to meditate and think about your exercises before you do them. Don't go in there without a plan. Make sure you know what you're gonna do and get yourself excited about it. Get yourself, aggressive, because there's so many people that don't push themselves hard enough each week, and in that way, you're doing a disservice to yourself because you're just gonna be doing the same thing each week and expecting different results, expecting to gain muscle. But how are you gonna do that if you're using the same weights each week? You need to move up. And I think that's everything, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a big old thumbs up. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Team Beyond the Week, CT.
Lift heavy or die Myron, motherfucker.
Team Beyond the Week.